Hey, it's Marilla Manelli, and today I'm going to show you my BTC award-winning up style and show you all of the step-by-step so you can recreate it too. Now let's go ahead and get started. Now to get started, I first want to assess the type of hair that we're working with. Now her hair is really fine, silky, straight, but she's got a lot of it. And I know that we're not only going to have to add in that thermal protection for her curls, but we're also going to have to add some texture and a little bit of grit to the style as well, so that way it can hold really well. We also have her side part here, which I love, and I think we're definitely going to work with it instead of against it. So now I'm going to go ahead and add in some 1-inch curls to her style before we start building her foundation. For her curls, I'm going to be using Kenra Thermal Styling Spray. This has a hold factor of 19, so this is a perfect thermal protecting spray to not only protect her curls from the heat, but also to give me the foundation and hold that we need out of the curls itself. I'm also going to be using a 1-inch wand to create some cascading curls. So I'm going to start her curls out by taking a 1-inch wide section at the nape and working from the bottom right on up. I'm then going to take my thermal styling spray and spray just a few sprays. And I would always suggest brushing your product right on through. This is just going to help evenly distribute the product. And also, since this is more of a wetter product, it does dry in place, so it's best to let it dry and set while it's brushed out. I'm then going to take 1-inch wide sections of hair and curl. Now when I add these curls throughout this style, I'm going to alternate the direction of my curls. This is going to enhance the type of texture that we're creating. So really quick tip, if you're trying to elongate your curls and create more of a wave pattern, I like to twist the hair as I wrap it around the wand. My heat setting for this is on a level 3, so what I would suggest is you want to have your heat setting that's best for your client's hair type. So for my client today, I want to make sure that we have something hot enough to help hold her really long hair. I don't want anything too hot to damage her hair. So I'm going to continue on with the same pattern throughout her entire hair. As I'm working through her hair, I'm using horseshoe-shaped sections, and this is mimicking the round shape of the head. So the curls are actually going to look really soft, and you're not going to really be able to tell exactly where they're coming from. Another tip is to not disrupt the curl once you release it. So this is going to help and allow for the curl to cool in place, giving you better longevity out of your texture you're putting in. Curling this section away from the face is going to help allow the hair to live really beautifully on top of the updo we're going to create, and it's also going to allow for the hair to not really fight with me. The whole purpose of adding in these curls is to really add texture, because once these curls have cooled in place, we're going to break them up a little bit, and we're going to be doing tons of ruching and lots of ponytails. So you don't need to overcomplicate the way you curl and set this style. So I'm on my very last section. I'm gonna let this down, and it's really important to let the hair be placed where it wants to naturally live. This is gonna help you place your curls in the best spot so that we don't have any like weird kinks or anything as you're working through the hair. For this top section, I don't want to take my curl right at the base like I've been doing here in the back. I'm gonna hold it more at a lower elevation and create that curl right in this zone here versus like right on top. For this entire top section, all of my curls are going to be away from the face. Ideally, I do want everything kind of going in the same direction because I'm going to be pulling all of this hair back. Now that her hair is completely curled, I'm going to separate the front from the back. And I want to see what hairs naturally want to live towards her face. The way I do that is I grab that entire front section, and then usually what I like to do once the curls have completely cooled is I will rake my fingers through the hair just to break that cast a little bit, and then hold this hair out and then just lightly shake it out. And whatever hairs just kind of lightly fall is the hair that I'm gonna leave completely out. And we're gonna work with that later and place it back so it has a really whimsical type of feel. This is also a great hack if you were gonna do a really cute ponytail or an updo and you wanted some face framing around. This is a very natural placement for some hairs to live around the face. Now that I've separated the front from the back, we need to create our foundation section here on the top. So this is the part that's really important. Everyone's gonna see it. And usually what I like to do is pull this hair back. I usually like to place my fingers right on the parietal ridge, and I'm just gonna do a really light horseshoe shaped section. And I'm just gonna use my fingers to kind of guide this hair back and start to break it apart. For the remainder of the style, I'm gonna be using Texturizing Taffy. So this is my hands down favorite must-have product for really any style. I love it because it's a fiber-based paste, and it's going to allow for me to have control as well as add texture, but also tame the flyaways as I'm working with this up style. I think the biggest mistake that a lot of hairdressers make when they first get into up styling is they like to use too much hairspray, and that really can dull the hair out. So using a product like this is a lifesaver. And you'll instantly see how much control we get now that we've created a little bit of frizz in this section. So I usually start out with like a pea size in my hands, and I like to keep a little bit at all times on my hands. This is also gonna help create a lot of definition on the top of her head. And once I have the hair in place where I want it to live, so I'm gonna take an elastic and create a low ponytail. So I'm just gonna cinch this up just a little bit, just so it feels slightly snug. I don't wanna go too tight with this. And from here, I'm gonna take little sections of hair and start to pull it apart. This is gonna give me a little bit more volume, and you can have a lot of fun with this. It just depends on how whimsical you want to create your up style, or if you want something really structured. What's really cool about this look is you can make this as structured or destructured as you'd like. And for the up style that I created a long time ago, it was kind of placed off to the side so you can wear it over the shoulder, or you can create this look going straight down the back. And it kind of really gives that Rapunzel vibe when she had her hair braided when she went to the village for the first time, and she had all those beautiful flowers, and that's really kind of the whimsical feel I was trying to go with it. So for this next section, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the hair directly behind the ear and whatever's living in front. Remember, we're gonna leave these little pieces in the front of her face. We're gonna leave those for last. And I'm gonna grab a section of hair on each side. So once I have my two sections in place, I'm just gonna lightly twist them inward. And you can do a couple things. You can like pull these twists apart, or we can go through and ruche. So I'll show you kind of what that looks like. So if you were to ruche, which is one of my very favorite things to do, is to lightly twist the hair inward. It's more of like a folding over motion. And then you're going to pinch very few hairs on the end of your section while keeping these fingers locked in place. So essentially this is what a ruched section looks like. You can see it has a lot of movement. It's very whimsical and very open, airy, and a lot of texture. The difference between doing a ruche versus doing a twist and pullouts is you're gonna have a lot more control if you add in your own twists and selectively choose which hairs are pulled out. At the end of the day, it's completely up to you if you wanted to create something a little bit more structured like this, a little bit more neater looking. Again, it also depends on your client's style as well, or if you do want to create that ruching effect. So I'm gonna go ahead and use both of these. So one really whimsical and one a little bit more structured. And all we're gonna do is create a ponytail right on top of that elastic. So now that I have the top section done, we have our centered foundation here, and we've covered up that first elastic with my 2 sections. Now what I'm gonna do is work from the right side and the left side, bringing different pieces of ruching, and I'm gonna show you how you can strategically place each of your ruched pieces right in the center of the head. So I'm gonna start out by taking a section on my right side. You can choose which side you wanna work on first. And then I'm gonna bring this hair to the opposite side, making sure to lightly twist. And from here, you can ruche this hair. And instead of taking another ponytail from this exterior, because we want to leave a lot of fullness here, we're going to grab a little piece of hair from underneath, and we're going to secure this section to that little piece with an elastic. Like I mentioned, this style is not going to go anywhere, so my client today was telling me that her hair doesn't hold curl very well, so this is like the perfect style for somebody that would like lots of texture and movement and needs that curl to hold in place. So I'm going to do the same thing to the other side, and I'm kind of taking diagonal forward sections, so you want to make sure that they're not straight and horizontal. You want them to be very flowy with the curvature of the head. A really great tip is when you are securing these elastics to a brand new section underneath is to make sure you're not taking from the previous section, because what will happen is you will start to pull on these pieces of hairs and it will just kind of start to drag it down a little bit. So always make sure you're grabbing from underneath. So now that I'm closer towards the bottom here, I don't have any hair to pull from the sides directly, so now we're just kind of working with this ponytail. So you do want to be a little light-handed when you do this, but you just want to grab random sections of hair, however thick that you feel comfortable working with, and also depending on how big of a ruche you're trying to create. Remember, the smaller of a ruche you go, the more intricate it will look. I wanted to create something really easy and fast to do. So as I start to walk towards the bottom, I'm going to do topsy tails. This makes it a little bit easier to create a lot of volume. And you can see we're almost done here, and the choice is completely up to you, like where you want to stop. This style can look really pretty with some pieces left out, or it looks really pretty even placed in a really low bun. Now I'm going to use a hairpin to delicately place all of these ruched pieces where I want them to permanently live. So kind of what happens when you do this look is sometimes it starts to get a little heavy and droops down, and that's when the elastic starts to get exposed. So this is a really easy hack for you to lift this updo up a little higher. So what I'm going to do is take that very first section that we created and put it back where originally it was, and I'm going to insert my hairpin in the opposite direction and secure it right on down. And then you're just going to make sure that you cover that hairpin with the hair on the outside. And I'm going to continue to detail this look with just a few hairpins, and then we're going to get ready to do the very front section. I'm using the hairpins because they do a really great job of locking the style into place, but they also don't disrupt the curl pattern or the placement that you're working with. So that's really why I love them so much, because I can almost use them as little fingers to help lift and place the hair exactly where I want it to live. Now that I think that it's at a great place, we're gonna start placing these front pieces towards the back. So I'm gonna be using the Volumizing spray clay. Now what I love about this is it is truly a spray clay. It's gonna give you a little bit of hold, a little bit of movement, and lots of volume. So these side pieces are completely up to you how you want to work with them. You can continue to ruche these and place them on top of this up style. You can lightly twist them, which is exactly what I've done with this piece, and I'm going to incorporate them loosely right on top and secure them with a bobby pin. And what I like to do is just allow the curl to kind of tell me how it wants to live. So you can see that we have this nice little wave pattern here. I'm just gonna comfortably fit it inside. And I'm gonna do that to each side as I build towards the top, just kind of custom creating. And I'm okay with these little pieces kind of hanging out, but I might go ahead and pin those in. So this is just part of the creative freedom you have with doing upstyling and creating something as whimsical or structured as you'd like. So I decided last minute just to kind of let a few little pieces left out, and I'll go ahead and detail curl these at the very end. So for this last piece, I'm just delicately placing it right over that prior bottom piece and then securing it with a pin. Once you get your upstyle into a great place and you feel really secure and happy with it, this is where you're gonna put your finishing spray. So it's really important to know to use your hairspray as the very last product to put in the hair. This is what's gonna hold it in place and make sure all of those delicate pieces that we've pinned are gonna stay all night long. And that completes this finished look. So I really hope you enjoyed this hair tutorial, and if you like videos like these, make sure you check out our other hair tutorials right here on this channel. Make sure to like and subscribe and share this video with a friend, and I will see you in the next video.